The Iroquois Confederacy, also known as the Haudenosaunee, meaning people of the Longhouse, stands as one of the most remarkable political and social innovations in human history. Emerging from a time of deep conflict and division, the Confederacy's formation is attributed to the Peacemaker, a visionary leader who transformed war-torn tribes into a unified alliance. Alongside the wise and eloquent leader, Hiawatha, the Peacemaker journeyed across the lands of the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca, sharing a vision of peace and harmony that would eventually unite these 5 nations under a single governance structure. At the heart of this unification was the Great Law of Peace, a constitution that emphasized unity, consensus, and collective welfare. This foundational document outlined a system of governance where each nation retained autonomy over its internal affairs, but collaborated on common issues through the Grand Council. The principles enshrined in the Great Law reflected profound wisdom. Decisions were to be made collectively and unanimously, prioritizing the needs of the people over individual or factional interests. The symbolism of the Great Tree of Peace, under which the Confederacy's alliance was forged, remains a powerful emblem of their unity. According to oral tradition, the Peacemaker used the image of a tree whose roots extended in all directions to represent the interconnectedness of the nation. The roots symbolized the principles of peace, equity, and justice, spreading outward, offering shelter to all who chose to follow its path. The creation of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy marked a profound shift from a state of chaos and warfare to a structured and peaceful society. The clan system, also established by the Peacemaker, played a vital role in this transformation. Clans transcended tribal boundaries, creating familial bonds among individuals from different nations. This matrilineal system ensured that lineage and inheritance were traced through the mother, with women playing central roles in governance and community welfare. Clan mothers, as the leaders of each clan, wielded significant influence, including the power to appoint and remove chiefs. The principles of the Great Law of Peace extended beyond governance into every facet of Haudenosaunee life. They emphasized respect for diversity, the importance of dialogue, and the necessity of balancing individual freedoms with communal responsibility. These ideals not only united the Haudenosaunee, but also served as an enduring model for cooperative leadership and participatory democracy. The Great Law's influence can even be seen in the foundational ideas of the United States Constitution, a testament to the vision of the Peacemaker and the enduring legacy of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. The Longhouse was more than just a structure for the Haudenosaunee. It was the physical embodiment of their culture, governance, and way of life. These elongated bark-covered dwellings could house multiple families from the same clan, creating a microcosm of communal living where cooperation and mutual support were essential for survival. Each longhouse was divided into compartments, with individual family spaces separated by wooden partitions. At the center ran a shared corridor with fire pits spaced evenly along its length, providing warmth and a place for communal cooking. Smoke escaped through carefully constructed holes in the roof, adding a distinctive architectural feature that also reflected the Haudenosaunee intimate understanding of their environment. Inside the longhouse, life revolved around a sense of shared responsibility. Women prepared meals and crafted goods, while men hunted, fished, and defended the community. Children were nurtured collectively, learning the stories, traditions, and skills that would define their roles in the community. Elders, respected as the keepers of wisdom, played a crucial role in educating younger generations and preserving the oral histories of their people. The longhouse also served as a hub for political and social gatherings. Clan meetings were held here to discuss issues, resolve disputes, and advise leaders. These discussions often involved both men and women, reflecting the inclusive nature of Haudenosaunee society. Decisions made within the Longhouse were not isolated. They influenced the larger governance structures of the clan, the nation, and ultimately the Confederacy. Symbolically, the Longhouse extended beyond the physical structure to encompass the entire territory of the Haudenosaunee. The Confederacy itself was often referred to as a Great Longhouse, with the Mohawk guarding the eastern door, the Seneca the western door, and the Onondaga maintaining the central fire. This metaphor emphasized their interconnectedness and shared responsibility for the welfare of all nations within the Confederacy. The resilience of the Haudenosaunee was deeply tied to the principles embodied by the Longhouse. Its design and function reflected a harmonious balance between individual needs and collective goals, mirroring the ideals of the Great Law of Peace. Today, the Longhouse remains a powerful symbol of unity, heritage, and the enduring strength of Haudenosaunee culture. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy's governance system was a sophisticated and visionary model of participatory democracy. Centered on the Grand Council, it brought together 50 chiefs representing the 5 original nations: Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca, to deliberate on matters of common concern. This council functioned on principles of consensus, ensuring that every voice was heard and that decisions reflected the collective will of the people. The process of decision-making began with the elder brothers, the Mohawk and Seneca, who discussed the issue at hand and proposed solutions. Their consensus was then passed to the younger brothers, the Cayuga and Oneida, for further deliberation. The Onondaga, as the keepers of the central fire, facilitated these discussions and provided final judgment. If any disagreement arose, the process restarted, ensuring that all nations reached a unanimous decision before any action was taken. This emphasis on consensus was not just a procedural requirement, but a reflection of Haudenosaunee values. It underscored the importance of dialogue, patience, and mutual respect in resolving conflicts and making decisions. The process also ensured that power was distributed equitably, preventing any single nation or leader from dominating the council. Clan mothers played a pivotal role in maintaining the integrity of the Grand Council. As the leaders of their clans, they selected chiefs, known as Hoyane, and held them accountable for their actions. If a chief failed to represent the interests of his people, or violated the principles of the Great Law of Peace, the clan mother had the authority to remove him from his position and appoint a successor. This system of checks and balances reinforced the Haudenosaunee commitment to accountable and ethical leadership. The Grand Council addressed a wide range of issues, from peace treaties and trade agreements to decisions about war and resource management. Each chief served as a representative of his clan and nation, ensuring that the voices of the people were reflected in council deliberation. The inclusion of both men and women in the decision-making process, though indirect, highlighted the Confederacy's respect for diverse perspectives and collective wisdom. The governance system of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy was not only a remarkable achievement in its time, but also an enduring legacy that continues to inspire modern democratic principles. Its emphasis on consensus, equality, and accountability offers valuable lessons for societies striving to build inclusive and harmonious communities. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy's culture has been a dynamic force, evolving to meet the needs of its people, while maintaining a strong connection to its roots. At its core lies a unique interplay between tradition and adaptability, allowing the Haudenosaunee to navigate historical upheavals and modern challenges with resilience and ingenuity. Art is a cornerstone of Haudenosaunee culture, serving both functional and ceremonial purposes. Their beadwork is celebrated worldwide for its intricacy and symbolism, often adorning clothing, belts, and ceremonial items. Each piece tells a story, from clan symbols to representations of natural elements, reflecting the spiritual and communal values of the people. The wampum belt, made of shell beads, stands as one of the most iconic symbols of Haudenosaunee culture. Beyond its artistic value, the wampum belt was a tool of diplomacy and record-keeping, preserving treaties, agreements, and oral histories. Storytelling has long been the heartbeat of Haudenosaunee cultural preservation. Elders, revered as keepers of wisdom, pass down stories that encapsulate the history, values, and spiritual beliefs of the Confederacy. These narratives are more than tales. They are living frameworks that shape the identity and moral compass of the community. Central to these stories is the figure of the great peacemaker, whose teachings of unity and peace continue to inspire the Haudenosaunee and others worldwide. Seasonal storytelling events held during the long winters also serve as a means of community bonding and education. Innovation in agriculture underscores the practical ingenuity of the Haudenosaunee. Their Three Sisters planting method, cultivating maize, beans, and squash together, is a triumph of sustainable farming. Each crop supports the other. Maize provides a structure for beans to climb. Beans enrich the soil with nitrogen, and squash spreads across the ground, retaining moisture and preventing weeds. This method not only optimized agricultural output, but also symbolized the interconnectedness valued by the Haudenosaunee. Coupled with advanced irrigation systems and efficient crop storage techniques, these practices ensured the survival and prosperity of their communities, even in challenging climates. Trade and diplomacy were equally significant facets of Haudenosaunee innovation. The Confederacy established vast trade networks, exchanging goods like furs, foodstuffs, tools, and pottery with neighboring tribes and European settlers. These trade relations required adept negotiation and adaptability, qualities that allowed the Haudenosaunee to assert their sovereignty even as external pressures mount. The establishment of trade routes also facilitated cultural exchanges, enriching the material and intellectual heritage of the Confederacy. Adaptability has been a hallmark of Haudenosaunee resilience in the face of colonization and conflict. Despite facing immense pressure from European settlers and later American expansionists, the Confederacy demonstrated a remarkable ability to adjust without losing its identity. They incorporated new tools and methods introduced by settlers while fiercely guarding their cultural values and governance systems. Their strength lay in their ability to harmonize innovation with tradition, ensuring their survival and legacy. Modern efforts to preserve Haudenosaunee culture reflect this enduring resilience. Language revitalization programs have gained momentum, aiming to preserve and teach the original languages of the Confederacy. Festivals, art exhibitions, and educational initiatives celebrate Haudenosaunee heritage, ensuring that future generations remain connected to their roots. These efforts are not merely acts of remembrance. They are declarations of identity and pride in the face of historical and contemporary challenge. The legacy of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy is profound, stretching far beyond its historical roots to influence modern governance, environmental stewardship, and cultural preservation. The principles embedded in the Great Law of Peace continue to resonate as a model for inclusive leadership, sustainable living, and community resilience. The Great Law of Peace has often been cited as an inspiration for the democratic principles enshrined in the United States Constitution. Figures like Benjamin Franklin admired the governance structure of the Haudenosaunee, particularly its emphasis on consensus and collective decision-making. Unlike many hierarchical systems of the time, the Confederacy's governance was rooted in equality and accountability. Each nation within the Confederacy maintained its sovereignty while collaborating on common issues, creating a balance between unity and autonomy that modern federal systems have sought to emulate. Environmental stewardship is another enduring legacy of the Haudenosaunee. The Confederacy's worldview is deeply intertwined with the natural world, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all living beings. The seventh generation principle, a core tenet of Haudenosaunee philosophy, urges decision-makers to consider the impact of their actions on the next 7 generations. This long-term perspective has found renewed relevance in contemporary environmental movements, offering a framework for addressing climate change and promoting sustainability. From advocating for land and water rights to participating in global environmental initiatives, the Haudenosaunee continue to lead by example. Cultural preservation remains a central focus for the Haudenosaunee. Despite centuries of colonization and forced assimilation, the Confederacy has preserved its traditions through storytelling, ceremonies, and art. Modern initiatives, such as language revitalization programs and cultural education centers, ensure that younger generations remain connected to their heritage. Festivals celebrating traditional music, dance, and crafts not only honor the past, but also foster a sense of community and pride among the Haudenosaunee. The Confederacy's influence extends to contemporary social and political movements. Indigenous rights advocates often draw upon the Haudenosaunee history of sovereignty and resilience to strengthen their campaigns for justice and recognition. The Confederacy's ability to maintain its governance structure and cultural identity in the face of adversity serves as a powerful example of indigenous self-determination. Additionally, the Haudenosaunee emphasis on consensus building offers valuable insights for conflict resolution and peace-building efforts worldwide. Modern Haudenosaunee leaders continue to assert their sovereignty and engage with broader societal issues, from land reclamation efforts to participation in United Nations forums. They advocate for indigenous rights and environmental justice. The Confederacy's values of unity, respect, and sustainability remain a guiding force, shaping their approach to contemporary challenges. The Haudenosaunee story is not confined to the past. It is a living narrative that continues to evolve. Their resilience, adaptability, and commitment to their values serve as an enduring source of inspiration. Whether through their contributions to democratic governance, their stewardship of the environment, or their efforts to preserve their culture, the Haudenosaunee embody the power of unity and tradition in shaping a better future for all.